A few rejections.
Yeah.
Door slammed in your face.
Yeah.
Doesn't do anything to you.
Just keep going.
Keep going.
No. Absolutely. Yeah. So candid words. So now the second book, which is new, came out, I think, a couple of weeks ago. And So I Roar. This is Dr. Abi Daré.
This doctor you're calling me.
People. Her latest book. Now, my question is this related in any way to The Girl with the Louding Voice, or it's a standalone?
It works both ways. So it follows immediately, I think about a week after Aduni leaves Big Madam's house in the first book. So it follows on from The Girl with the Louding Voice.
Right.
But it could be read as a standalone novel. It took a lot out of me to write this book. It's a book that I wrote dealing with grief while I was personally dealing with grief. But also it was really incredibly difficult to write. But it's a powerful book. It makes you cry. I've heard that quite a lot. You grab the tissues ready. But it's also a book of resilience, about the power of sisterhood, of speaking up against injustice. And the world we're in today is full of injustice. And this is just a book that, just back to answer your question, it could be read as a standalone quite perfectly well, but I would always advise that you read The Girl with the Louding Voice
first,
because they just work beautifully together.
Okay, no, thank you very much. And you touched on a couple of themes there about injustice. Guys, the book is available online and in bookstores. Incredible book, incredible continuation of The Girl with the Louding Voice, which is amazing as well. And this book touched on several themes. You talked about injustice, covered FGM, covered a few other, I don't want to give it up. Guys, go and buy it now. Why should I tell you? Go and buy it. Go and buy it. So it covers those themes.
Yeah.
And how was that for you, writing about these themes? Were you aware of how potent these themes are in 2024? As it came out in 2024, but I assume it took you a couple of months or years to write it. So, but these themes still continue till today. How did that make you feel doing the research and thinking these things still exist and to this magnitude?
Yeah, it's really hard. Shocking. At first, it's shocking, and then after a while, it just sort of that shock. I don't know whether to call it intensifies. It probably intensifies to rage and anger that these things still happen. I came across somebody's Instagram post about a very educated man who's based in the UK. I don't know what their nationality is, but he was advocating for his young girl to be taken back to wherever they've come from originally, to have her, go through some of these practices that I talk about in this book. And this was in 2024. I came across this post. And every time I question myself or I second guess or my confidence wavers as to why I've written about such heavy themes, something just comes up to sort of say to me, Abi, you're doing the right thing. And I always say this, that if one girl can be saved through some of the work that I've done with this book, and it's not just me, there's so many of us that are speaking up in different ways, then I feel like I've done my job. And for me, it's for that one girl.
Brilliant. Thank you. And taking you back to what you said you wrote it when you were grieving. So do you want to share a little bit about that? I know it's something that we both shared together. So we lost our father last year. Incredibly difficult time and painful time and sad. Lots of reflections, lot of feelings, emotions going through our heads. Do you want to talk about that as much as you can and how it impacted And So I Roar? Because why I asked that question is the first book, you were not dealing with any grief. The second book, you were. I was dealing with the grief, but I didn't write the book. So she should answer the question. But, I mean, share as much as you can.
Yeah, so, and it wasn't just one. I personally lost more than one person, as you know. So two people from my husband's side and then dad. That's
true.
With dad, I think I was... So we have we had a unique relationship with Dad, right? He wasn't in our lives. And
yes,
for a long time,
for a long time.
I processed that as if he wasn't alive. Like it was easier to deal with for me to imagine that he was gone. And then when he came back and called and apologized, that was difficult because it was easier to deal. You know, when you're thinking, I haven't heard from this man, so you kind of like try to. I compartmentalized that feeling. He's gone. Yes, there were many moments where I wished that he was in our lives, in my life. You walked me down the aisle with granduncle.
Yes.
That was hard. And so many other key moments in my life. And so when I was writing on So I Raw, one of the characters, Tia, she's dealing with a relationship with her mother, and they don't have a very good relationship. And so I kind of maybe was trying to process. Dad was still alive at that time. So I was trying to write through that, just trying to figure out what Tia, and I don't know if I went in enough through Tia's character, the character in this book. But then in the middle of editing the book, you called me while I was writing the book, and you said, let's go see Dad. It was just out of the blue.
Yes.
Maybe I should ask you, why did you do that? I know you said to me, you said to me what you said, but what made you pick up the phone?
For me, it was spiritual. It was spiritual. I was in front of the mirror, and there was just this loud voice that just, I didn't hear it, but
inside of you,
loud voice in my spirit that said, go and see your father.
Oh my gosh.
And I argued with the voice. And I said, but he didn't do this, but he didn't do that. And the voice said, I know all that, and I'm not arguing with you, but go and see your father. Just do as I've asked. And I knew it wasn't an uncle, it wasn't a mom, it wasn't a friend, it wasn't a pastor. It could only be from the Almighty. And I decided that I was going to listen. And this voice was during COVID. Yes, but I heard it more than once.
You've never told me that.
Yeah. Guys, you're in for a treat. So it's
and this is we've not seen Dad since 19. What year was it for you?
Probably for me, it's probably 97.
97.
It's been a very long time.
Oh my gosh.
So it's been, So, and then I ignored the voice. And I'm telling you for the first time, I ignored the voice, but then I heard the voice again. And I knew that I had to do. It was a call to action. It was almost like if I ignored it, I'll regret it. There was something that wasn't going to be there. Closure and everything. So I called you.
You called me.
Yes.
And I take your call and I hang up and I'm pissed. What's this? Why is he, if he wants to go, right? But I didn't say that to you on the phone. But I hang up and I'm thinking and I'm saying to my husband and I'm saying, no, like I don't verbalize the no. But I say to him, Yemi just called and he said this. End of conversation. Like I said in a tone that suggested, this is not up for discussion. I'm just giving you the information. But then quietly, as you know my husband's ways, he's quite, quiet in his ways. He comes to me much later and he says, are you going to regret it if he dies and you don't see him? And I have no words. I write about this in The Observer. I think he came out last week. I have no words for that question because I'm scared of the response. Because I'm thinking, if you go, you see Dad alone, and he dies, I would never forgive myself.
And there's no opportunity. There's no more.
It's so final, right?
Death is final. May so rest in peace.
So we go to Lagos. Oh. And how was it for you? Seeing him. I remember I told you that I felt.
For me, it was surreal. It was older, frail.
First time in like 30 years.
Quiet, not as chatty.
Reflective.
But it was still chatty. He talked about a lot of things.
Yeah, his farm.
Nigerian government. Ever-present theme. Yeah, but it was great seeing him. He
said I looked just like Mom.
Yes, he said
when she was my age.
Yeah. It was great seeing him. We had
so much
he and I chatted about a little bit about the Nigerian army, the political situation, and yeah, it was.
It was hard for me.
Yes, it wasn't.
I wanted
for
more.
me. It was surreal for me. It was like I was just thinking, is this happening? Is this happening? Is this actually
I was
happening?
thinking I wanted more.
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like I wanted to unpack all these years and lay it at his feet and say,
yes, I don't answer questions.
Yes.
But yes, those questions.
And then we get the call that he's gone.
Yeah.
And he's gone. That's it. So, you know.
Yeah, the grieving part was hard. It was very hard. It was grieving the person I knew and grieving the person that I hadn't seen in such a long time of what could have been. But also, I think I was comforted that
you saw him. I
saw him. He was peaceful. He had made peace.
He prayed for us.
He prayed for us.
Father's blessing.
Yes. So there were a lot of takeaways. There were a lot of takeaways. And I mean, the point you raised about if we hadn't seen him, if I hadn't seen him, it would have been worse for me. So, because I was the one that got the. Yeah. I was the one that was hearing the voices.
You should write a book called The Voice.
Yeah. Yeah. So it was me that God gave the instruction. The Almighty gave me the instruction and do this.
Yeah.
It's not up for debate. So for me, it would have been more painful.
So what would you say to somebody that has an estranged parent and is dealing with unresolved issues and it's been so long? Are you suggesting? What would you say? Pick up the phone because you never know? Make peace? Leave it to just...
You know, these things are very individual and people... I mean, it took me quite a long time. People... So it will be...
It will be
sanctimonious for me to say, pick up the phone. But why didn't you pick up the phone, the next day? So it's difficult and people handle situations differently. However... What I know, without a shadow of a doubt, is that when that person goes, it doesn't matter whether you were close or you were from far. They're family. And the best thing is to be able to pick up the call. But the advice I'll probably give is at your own time. At your own time. But again, I'd just like to say here that, when you make peace and when you forgive, a lot of the time it's actually about you.
Yes.
There's a peace and finality that you get from the process. And it closes things. Yes, there may still be some questions unanswered, but we live in this world. Do we even have all the questions answered in this world? The answer is no. So you may not have all the questions also answered from a relationship, whatever the relationship is. But what it allows you to do when you do get to that point is it gives you closure. And it definitely gave me closure. So that's what I would advise. But like I said, at your own time, do it at your own time.
Yeah, but that was that.